James Carafano, Vice President of the Heritage Foundation. He's the man we go to whenever we need to talk national security and foreign policy. James, welcome back to America First.
Holy smokes. Have you had a great show today or what?
Oh, man. When you can get Rudy Giuliani, when you can get Matt Boyle, Jim Carafano, Trish Regan, and then you can get James Carafano to come after Victor Davis Hanson, you might as well just retire, right, Jim?
Absolutely. Yeah, you should call it a day. Just call it a day right there.
But we've got an important issue to cover, and I know it's on your front burner. Let's talk about, are we in a new paradigm, Jim, when it comes to U.S. troops around the world, especially in Europe? I know you've got an opinion on that one.
Yeah, so we've all seen the reporting about the president ordering a drawdown in troops in Europe. Here's what I said. First of all, we haven't seen the president say anything about this yet. So I think all of this is, I know, it's like,
funny.
And you've been there, right? This is a president that likes to think out of the box. He likes to hear different opinions. He likes to hear controversy. Right. And then in the end, he makes a decision. And I think he's actually been pretty good at this. I will say, if you look at our force structure in Europe, which is there really to protect us, and you know this, one of the things is, we use our bases in Europe basically to get to half of the world.
Yes.
So our bases in Europe are part of what makes America a global military power.
Right.
And that's beyond the pieces of Europe. Go to the Index of U.S. Military Strength.
Who publishes that?
The Heritage Foundation.
Oh, I've heard of them.
On our website.
Yes.
On heritage.org. And look at every year our position in Europe in the last 3 years under this president has gotten stronger and better. That's better for America.
But I thought he hated NATO, Jim.
Well, that's the other thing. The president's been great for NATO. He's reinforced NATO. We've done more there. We've forced other countries to invest more. We've actually made NATO stronger. And, he has recruited really, whether you're Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter, whatever. We had 8 years of defense neglect under the last president. This president has fixed that. Now's not the time to chip away at the accomplishments that he's made. So our recommendation is we are in a good place. We should stick with it.
How about the following? And I'm just asking you as somebody who served there in Central Europe, worked for the Hungarian Defense Ministry for 5 years as they were desperately trying to get into NATO and then succeeded. Is there room for a little bit of shuffling of the cards, maybe moving some units to other countries, Jim? Maybe send a message to Vlad in the Kremlin? What about that possibility?
Yeah, I think that's certainly a possibility. And this is one of the things which is kind of bad about all the reporting. It doesn't say, are we moving troops? Are we taking troops out? What kind of troops are we talking about? People say, well, we need to move forces to the Pacific. Well, if you're not on a ship, you're not building, a force to the Pacific don't really help you very much. So, we don't have any details. We don't really know what the president thinks about this because he hasn't spoken on this issue. So we're all just playing with the President Trump that's in our head rather than dealing with the facts. And I'd say let's let the president speak for himself on his vision for the future of how he's going to protect America, and then let's grade him on that.
What about...
Is that fair?
No, absolutely. Any recommendations out of you or Heritage when it comes to over the horizon with regards to the alliance, when it comes to NATO's next missions or next challenges? Is there something else that should be emphasized more than the old missions of territorial physical defense in Article 5?
Well, one of the great things that the president has really emphasized is NATO taking the issue of China seriously. And It's not so much about NATO going over to the Pacific to fight China, but China is trying to destabilize Europe as well. They're trying to undermine their solidarity and capabilities. And so NATO taking seriously about stopping Chinese meddling in Europe is also important. So the president's had his priorities in the right place. I really just think he needs to follow through on that.
All right. In the meantime, check out that study and also All Matters Policy at the Mothership. It's the Heritage Foundation. Join them today, heritage.org. And the man who is preventing World War III, one tweet at a time. Jay Carafano on Twitter. Thank you, James. I'm Sebastian Gorka. This is America First on the Salem Radio Network.